Hello guys, welcome to the IT Journey channel. Please subscribe and give a like if you find this video useful. This channel is going to take you through Azure DevOps from zero to hero. In the previous videos, we talked about creating your own Azure DevOps instance and we touched briefly on what Azure boards are. And in this session, we are going to look at Azure Repos. And the tool that we're going to need for this tutorial is going to be Visual Studio Community Edition, which you can download from here. So see Azure Repos as a tool for storing and tracking your code. When we head to Microsoft's site, I think they do a very good job of explaining what Azure Repo is. So they have some keywords which we are going to highlight, right? Azure Repos is a set of version control tools that you can use to manage your code. So it goes further to explain what version control systems are, right? And it says that they are software that help you track changes that you make in your code over time, right? Then it goes down further to kind of describe, give an example of the version control tools, the types that we have. We have Git and we have TFS. And Git is, widely used now, and explain what Git does. This tutorial, what we are going to do is to use Visual Studio, create our project or our solution, and then push that code into our project that we created, push that into Azure DevOps. So without now wasting time, let's head over here. It takes a long time to download and install Visual Studio and all that. So I already went ahead and completed all that. So just pull that down from the site here, the community edition, install that, and then you can just get the chance to use it. All right, so let's create a new project here. So we hit on the new project. We can go ahead of create a new web application and then hit a next. So here we can just name our project IT Journey web app. That is gonna be our project that we're gonna create. So we are gonna go with the defaults that they have. So we're gonna choose .NET 8, go with the default, and then you create our project. And that is it. So we've used Visual Studio to create our first app that we are going to play around and see how it works, or how we can integrate that with Azure DevOps. So there are different ways that we can create a repo. This is one of the ways that I want us to go through it. So once you have your code base here, right, the first thing you can do is to add to source control. So it gives you like it's one of the type of source control tools that we are going to use. You hit on the Azure DevOps. So right here it is asking you for your organization name, which is the organization that we created in our previous videos, the project, and then it's asking you, what is going to be the repo name that you would want to create. So once you have all those selected, you can just create and push your code. All right, so things are pretty much happening in the background. So we can head over to our Azure DevOps instance to gonna confirm if our code has been merged up. So we can hit here. It doesn't look like it is here yet, but all right. So now we are able to see our code that we created, the project that we created with Visual Studio. We're able to see our code here, and start playing around with that. Okay. One other ways that you can also create a repository through the UI here is to hit on this plus tab, and let's say create a new repository. Let's say test repo, and that is also good. I'm going to create a repository for you, and you're going to clone that down. But in this tutorial, we are just going to focus on the IT Journey web app. Okay, so once we have our code here, we can build our solution. So you can just right click on that and just build your solution. All right, so once your solution is built, you can test it locally to see the results or the output of your code base. So this is gonna, so it's right here, just hit switches because we do not have a certificate installed. That was mainly why I switched it to HTTP. So we can hit the play button here. Would you like to use trusted? No, we don't have cert, so all right, and right out. Now we are able to see our IT Journey web app that we use the Visual Studio to create. So this is gonna be, this is our web, this is our web app page that we have. App is functional. Our source of truth, which is the master branch, is up and running, right? We can see that it's giving us the welcome page, but seeing this, I'm like, this doesn't kind of make sense. It's saying welcome, but welcome to what? Okay. So then I'm like, okay, I want to make changes to my site to something meaningful. If somebody comes to my page, yeah, they should see something meaningful, like, welcome to IT Jenny channel. And that is where branching comes into play, right? That is where you create a branch. So you are creating a copy of the master branch, make your changes to your branch, and then once you are satisfied with your branch, then you can merge it to the master branch. And there are several ways, naming conventions that we can go. Okay, so to make our changes to the title of the web app page that we don't like, okay, we can head over to Visual Studio, um, create a new branch, and say users IT journey admin, and then give a meaningful description of what we are trying to do. So modify web app page. Okay, so with this strategy, we are kind of following this that they have here. So users, your username, and then you give a description of what you are trying to do. Okay, so now we have made a copy of the master branch. So now we are free to do whatever that we want to whatever this branch that we want. So we can head over to the HTML, which we already have it open here, and say, okay, I don't want to see only welcome. I want to see welcome to IT Journey channel. Okay. Right. Then you save that. So now you've made a change, and then Git has recorded the changes that you have made, right? But it's good practice that any change that you make local, you test it before you commit your changes or try to merge it to the master branch. So since we have made a new change to our code, Let's rebuild our code. We are going to build our code again. And once the build is complete, let's run this again to see what is going to be the output. So once we've made a change to the code, let's run this again to see what is going to come out of the output. All right, so our page is coming up, and then based on the changes that we have made, we have tested that to make sure that our changes are coming up as expected. So now we see that it's coming up as welcome to IT Journey channel, which is good. So now we're confident that we can um, commit our change. So one way that we can do is with give a meaningful message to the changes that you have made. So modified web page to IT Journey channel. Right, so this is what we've done, and you can comment all. So now every change that we have done is local. We haven't made any change to Azure DevOps yet. So to push our changes or to push our or to get our changes out there for other team members to see whatever that we have done, we can do a push, right? And then we can go to Azure DevOps to confirm if our changes have been pushed to the cloud. Yes, and then we see that our changes here, this is the branch that we created, has been pushed here, and then it can give you history of whatever that you did, right? So it's giving you, it tracks whatever changes that has been done to the file, and this is the change that we did, right? We modified that welcome to welcome IT Journey channel. It gives you all the changes that you have done, right? So it is always good practice that you always create a pull request, right? What pull request means is that you are inviting other collaborators to look at your work, okay, to make sure that it is free of any errors, right? So you create a pull request here, and then which is basically saying, okay, I have these changes, I've made these changes, I've tested my changes, and I want to merge this change that I have to the source of truth. Okay, so can kindly look at my work to see if everything looks good, and then approve it for me. So you can just create one here, right? And then once the reviewers kind of go through that and see that you've made all the necessary changes, everything looks good, they can approve that, and then you would have to come and complete your change. All right, so now we have successfully merged our changes to the master branch. So if you go into the master and you look for the file that we make the chain to, um, and get into the page, the index HTML that we made the changes to, we can look at the history and see who made the change, like what was the change that was added to that file and who made that change. So in case there are any issues with the change, you can compare from with what existed before and the change that was made, You can blame if there's any issue with the code change. So it gives you chance for you to know whatever happened to your code base. So to recap what we did, we used Visual Studio to create our own project, which served as the master branch. We created a feature, made changes to our feature branch, tested our change, and completed a pull request to the master branch. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.